Okay, so here we are with part 2 of Deb's big yarn stash reorg. Uh, I have completed all my knitting yarns. I will be able today to complete just making sure I've documented all my spinning fiber that is in braids, not the hand-dyed bats that I keep in the dye studio, etc. But this is location knit. And I still have to do the weaving location, which is unfortunately in my living room, which is the most public part of my home, but I rarely have company, so it's probably not that big a deal. So I want to show you, this is about an 8 by 10 room. It is not large. It is considerably smaller than the space I had in a house. However, again, thinking vertically has made a huge difference. So last summer, I treated myself to a kid-size twin bunk bed. And now I'm wishing that I'd gotten a grown-up size one, just because the top row of this bunk bed, the actual bed is just about an inch too low for even me at 5'3" to work under it. And if I'd gotten a grown-up size one, the bed might have just been, let's say, 6 inches higher, and then I could have made good use of the workspace under it. But I can't without banging my head. So what made me choose this particular incarnation of the many, many bunk beds that are available? This one is set up as a kids' study station. And honestly, because I did not get the one with stairs, but with a ladder, the top is just a mattress storage space. When I have company, we put the mattress on the floor for them because I sure don't want to go up on that ladder. But this bed has just crap tons of storage built into it. So the desk side is deep enough for my sewing machine. And above it is more storage for the things I need right to hand when I'm using the sewing machine. Then this desk goes around the back, so it's against the wall. And then it's got an entire other side, and there are 1, 2, 3 shelves on this other side, plus storage for more stuff below it. It's really kind of genius, and I am really glad that I got it, even though, as I said, it would have been nice if I'd had space to work under it while standing, because, for instance, I could have put my drum carder right on that long back panel, which might have meant I could get rid of this table, but I don't want to keep banging my head every 5 seconds. And the closet doors are open so that you can see how I have organized the main part of the closet. So I just completely ignore the hanging rod. I put in the cubby organizers that Marie Greene spoke about in The Joy of Yarn. And they've got little bins. If I decide to get more bins, they now make kinds that have a clear patch near the bottom. I've got those in my closet for sweater storage, my clothes closet, as opposed to my yarn closet. But again, even without the see-through-y part, I can put my little tags with the erasable marker, the erasable tags with the marker on everything. And I want to show you something really cool, because this makes me beyond happy, people. I have currently got empty cubbies, and I think we all know what that means. More yarn. So on the inside of the doors, I found these little bins that I could just screw into the hollow doors. Believe it or not, there's a way to hang things on hollow doors. And then I've got a hanger up here that goes over the door, and then another one that's attached to the door. This is location sweater in my grand scheme of things for my yarn stash reorg. And again, when I'm really being good, I can put these tags on these project bags, and then everything is in one spot, and I don't have to go digging through everything to find the next project in my queue. I want to show you one last thing. Let's see how close we can get to this. Whoops, hands are not working very well. Okay, so this is just a simple little organizy bin, and I've got everything in it for my next purse project. I've got the fabric, I've got the pattern, I've got little bits of cutout things that I can already, that I were from my last one. I've got the hardware, and I strongly encourage you to think, and this might just be because I work in manufacturing, even though I work in the office, but having everything ready to go for a project in one simple location makes life just so much easier. You don't have to hunt around for stuff. You've got all the things you need in one spot. And in fact, if you have ever studied cooking in any capacity, this is a mise en place. It's all right there. And you don't have to go, oh man, I don't have any sugar, because you know it's in the box. So cooks do this, chefs do this before they start preparing a dish. They get everything they need and organize it in one place. And obviously they're not putting it in the closet, but you get the eggs out and you get the milk out and you get the whatever, and it's just ready to rock and roll at any time. And since we're touring my studio anyway, I just want to show you what the rest of it looks like. Big work surfaces and making space in the corners. So this shelf unit with open corners used to actually have more projects. And in fact, if you look very closely, okay, if you see that sheep cookie jar, right below that is another project box. And oh gosh, look, I labeled it because I label everything, but it's all ready to go. Working down from that, I've got an organizer right over here. And this is where I keep all my little crap yarn for winding warp chains. And then if we pan just a little bit over, you can see my warping board. And I was shocked and delighted to learn that because when you warp, you're not going all the way back to the wall. You're just working on these pegs. A warping board can actually become a good way to frame a collection of stuff on the wall. And if you're thinking to yourself now, wow, Deb, that's a lot of sheep. Yeah, this is like a sheep explosion. This funky little organizing tree is a place to hold small empty project bags that don't fit easily in the closet. And last but not least, I have a more stuff that hangs on the door to hold things, and little shelf units. You can't see them because the closet doors are open, but on either side of this bunk bed, there's actually more storage space between the bed and the window. And when the closet doors are closed, there's another set of cubbies on that door and wall, or not on that door, on that wall. So again, everything is labeled because that's just what I do. It makes me happy. And labels don't have to be fancy. Even though, and you might be saying to yourself, Deb, those bins have a see-through window. Yeah, they do. But every now and then I just kind of, I don't know, forget what my system is. And so I have got just painter's tape and Sharpie marking how I planned to sort each color. So black and white and blue purple are out in an obvious place. Next to that is gray. Next to that is undyed, unspun fiber. Then we've got the blue turquoises, and reds are kind of back in the corner because I don't use those yarns as much. And then more of those inexpensive little storage cubbies for, this is what I'm going to focus on today. This is all the dyed braids that I've got to spin. And finally, down here are the blues of bats that I have already dyed that I will work into a heathering project for my next big Fair Isle spin. So this system is making me pretty doggone happy, I've got to say. And it doesn't mean I can't change it if it turns out that it's not working. I do want to say a word, though, about diminishing returns. I have now got all my yarn, all my knitting yarn, documented in Ravelry. I have got amounts. I can see where I don't have photos or amounts, and now I can see the holes in my data, and I can fix that. I've got locations stored for everything so that I know that I know what's in my knitting area. I know what's in my sweater area off to the side here. I know what's in my this and that and the other thing area, my dye studio area. I know what's in my weaving. But it's all going to change, of course, the minute I start using this stash and I get lazy and I don't put something away in the place where I thought I needed to, I had set up to put it. Does that mean I have to obsess about this? No, absolutely not. My organizational system is meant to help me find the things I need, but it is not the end of it's not the be all and end all. It's a means to an end. It's not the end itself. The end itself is to have a space that enhances my creative process, that allows me to, for instance, pull out all my bins with blue yarns in them and throw everything on this now nice and open floor that I've got. There's actually there's a lot of open space on this floor now. And if I so choose, I can lay out all these different blues and go, oh, I like how these look together for a weaving project. Or, wow, this color would make a great accent on a circular yoke sweater with a Fair Isle band around the yoke. So when I get to a place where I'm like, oh my God, I moved that yarn and I didn't mark its location on Ravelry or on my spreadsheets, I have to stop and say, Deb, just chill out. This is all this organization is a means to an end. And yeah, there are going to be inconsistencies. There are going to be times where I don't follow my plan, but the plan is not the end of the process. Making stuff and enjoying the process of making it, that is the goal. So I'm telling myself this as much as you about not making yourself crazy. Once you decide, okay, I'm going to document my entire stash, there's a point at which overcomplicating or over-organizing can actually work against you. There, I said it, and I'm not sorry.